Hello, everyone. This is Jasper again, and welcome back to another episode of the Newton Public Schools Alumni Association podcast series. And today we have another person joining us today. Today we have Nathan here with us. So, welcome to the show, Nathan. Very excited to have you here today. Will you mind giving us a quick introduction first of who you are, when you graduated Newton South, as well as what you're doing now?
Sure. Thank you very much for having me. My name is Dr. Nathan Schaller. I graduated Newton South in 2002.
Wow.
What am I doing now? After Newton South, I went to college. I did 2 years of research, just very briefly, and then I went to medical school. For medical school, I did a residency in anatomic and clinical pathology, and then I did a fellowship in pediatric pathology, followed by a fellowship in forensic pathology. So in medicine and medical training in the United States, when you graduate medical school, you're a doctor, but to learn your specialty, like your job, you first have to do a residency training program, and then your subspecialty is actually going to teach you how to do your specific flavor of that job. So for example, if you wanted to be pediatrician, but you want to do pediatric neurology, you would do a residency in pediatrics and then training a fellowship program in neurology. So I am dual subspecialized in pediatric pathology and forensic pathology, and there are about 20 to 25 of us in the country right now.
Wow, that is amazing.
It sounds amazing, but the reality is what that means is I'm an expert in autopsy medicine, essentially, and forensic pathology means that I essentially use autopsy medicine to determine how people died. And I do that for not only the medical system, but the criminal justice system too, as well. And then being an expert in pediatric pathology enhances my diagnostic ability, enhances my career path, and enhances my skills, but particularly for my decedents, my patients who are all deceased under the age of 18. Because in the world of medicine, it's really important to remember that children are not just little adults. And that's why we have specialties in
Right.
pediatrics. They have their own issues. And so I really love what I do. I get a lot of joy and satisfaction out of what I do, but I understand that it's extremely gross and extremely
Right. Yeah.
weird for a lot of people. But I really I have to say that I attribute a lot of where I ended up from the kind of support that I had as a kid, particularly at Newton South High School. So I did a lot of stuff at Newton South. I was a varsity athlete in two sports. I played goalie for both the hockey team and the lacrosse team.
Wow.
I volunteered for the girls hockey team too as well. I was a volunteer goalie coach. So I got to wake up at 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning and go over to Boston College and go over to the rink and
Amazing.
skate with all the girls. And we had an absolute blast, and they were really wonderful. In addition to that, I did so many advanced placement classes that I could start college as a sophomore if I had wanted to. So these are the strengths of Newton South. It's always been, in my opinion, from when my sister was there, from I'm there, and now my friends' kids are starting to go there. It's not any one thing. It's the academics, it's the sports, it's the sense of community, and it's the sense of activity. And really, I just recommend anyone do anything, throw yourself into something, and because you never know when those skills and how they're going to be applicable to your life experience later on down the road. But I can tell you, taking those advanced placement classes, even if I didn't directly use those credits in college, really enhanced my competitiveness and really kind of made me a more robust candidate when it came time to apply for other things. I can't tell you enough how being old and having to train new people, I look for athletes for when I'm interviewing candidates, people that are used to
Oh,
working on a team, used to
right.
people that are
Yeah.
used to failing, used to struggling, used to having other people in their face and telling them their problems. Um, there's a certain kind of um, constitution, I think, that is really built through team sport that shines through in the workplace. And I would encourage anyone at Newton South to find any sport or activity that is team based and definitely pour themselves into that too as well.
I see. Well, first off, I don't think you need to say that it's gross or anything that you love doing forensics because, after all, if you think it's gross, maybe that job's just not for you. Like someone's got
That's
to
a good
do
point.
this someday, and it's fantastic that the people who are doing these jobs that are necessary to society actually do enjoy doing it. So I think it's amazing that you managed to find something that you enjoy doing and something that you've been doing for such a long time. But moreover, I think that well, I completely agree with you that Newton South still continues to offer a wide array of advanced placement courses that can aid students tremendously in college, as it did for you, as well as a ton of clubs as well as societies that can kind of help these students. So I guess one quick question that I had in mind, kind of when it comes to you transitioning from high school to college, you mentioned about how you've done your residency pretty early on, and you've basically kind of had a set life path as to the fact that you wanted to be a medical doctor in forensics in the future, as well as essentially doing this. But kind of, what is maybe an inspiration for you to kind of start doing doctor stuff, essentially? Like, is there something in Newton South that maybe was an inspiration for you? Or do you think that Newton South kind of was something that kind of aided you when you already made this decision?
I think Newton South really aided me once I had made the decision. I have a hard time believing in luck. I think luck is when preparation and opportunity are going to collide. And people who are more prepared are more lucky because they're in a better place to take advantage of opportunities when they arise. And I think some of that, um, I'm going to say something a little wild. When I was in high school, I was also a little rebellious. I got into a little bit of trouble here and there. And I honestly think that is okay. And I am thankful that Newton South gave me an opportunity to apologize, to serve detention, to make amends for what I've done because um, I think there is value in going against the grain. I think there is value in taking risks. I can't tell you how many people told me don't go into medicine. My own, I don't want to call them out if you're recording this, but relatives close to me told me don't be a forensic pathologist. You'd be miserable. And it is so perfectly carved out for my personality. Um, I asked myself early on in medicine because there was nothing else I wanted to do. Am I broad or am I deep? If you're deep, you want to know more about the kidney than anyone else on the planet. But if you're the opposite, if you're like me, if you're broad, you want to know a little bit about every single specialty that exists. You want to be able to walk in any room in the hospital and have something intelligent to say. And that's definitely forensics. It's a unique field that looks at how the heart affects the lung, affects the brain, how infection is going to affect your response to trauma. Everything is highly integrative. And for that reason, I think it's just the apex of medicine because it is the forensics lives in the gaps between other specialties. Additionally, I get to spend the rest of my life becoming an expert in things like toxicology and firearms and
Oh,
aerospace and explosions and weapons and basically anything in my world that can kill someone that I have to be an expert on.
right.
So
Yeah.
Forensics is great if you're broad, not deep. It's great if you are hyper curious and you never want to be bored and you don't want to retire.
I see. So
That,
basically,
that's
for all students who kind of want to do forensics, you just say that, it's a lot better to know a more wide array of information as compared to, going all the way vertically into maybe one subject that might be maybe niche compared to some people, but maybe would not be too broad because you can only really talk about it in one scenario. But also, just I guess one last quick question because you had such a long, inspiring journey in medicine, and so many students who are high schoolers now realize that maybe the journey of doing medicine is going to be one that's extremely long and very arduous and perilous. So I guess will you just end us off with maybe one or two things that you think you did that maybe is going to be the most important to either keep in mind, or something that you did that you feel that all students should kind of follow your footsteps in doing the same?
I think all students should follow in my footsteps, in not in that they should go to medical school. I think you should follow my footsteps in that you should ask a lot of really intelligent people that you trust for advice. Trust what they say, but verify that information, and then ignore them. Do what you want. Give them the middle finger, and do what you think is best for you. And don't forget to have fun. I think that's what's most important.
So that is kind of very in character of what you talked about being rebellious in high school. But amazing advice nonetheless. It is just do what you want to do because it's your life and you're the one in the driver's seat. You don't want any backseat drivers there with you.
At the end of the day, the only thing that's important, you have to go to sleep at night and you have to believe that you're a good person. And you have to believe that you're doing the best that you can do. And you're not going to have to answer to these people every day. So you need to be true to yourself.
I see. Well, this is absolutely fantastic. I hope that everyone learning is going to learn something amazing from Dr. Nathan Shala here, because I think what Nathan has told us today is probably going to be very important for not only kids who want to do medicine, but also everyone. So, once again, thank you very much to Nathan for joining us here today. And for everyone listening, I hope you guys have all learned something from Nathan's very interesting life story, but one that you can regardless draw a ton of life lessons from. Because I personally, this is probably one of the most fun podcast series I've ever been on because
Great.
of all the wild rides that we've been on. So thank you very much to everyone for listening. Thank you very much to Nathan for coming here, and I will see you all next time.